Subscribe to Keep It Terrifying for creepy tales, horror, and nightmares you won't forget. Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button and keep it terrifying. Part 1, The Tremor Beneath the Quiet Town. Kai had never been fond of silence. Silence always seemed to make the world too still, like it was holding its breath before something unspeakable happened. And tonight, the town of Wrenhaven was too quiet. The wind had stopped. The cicadas had gone mute. Even the old grandfather clock in Kai's hallway had stalled, its pendulum frozen mid-swing, like time itself had stuttered. He sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the unmoving shadows cast by his night lamp. Something felt off. The air was thick, humming ever so slightly, like distant machinery beneath the earth. He stood and walked to the window. Outside, the streetlights flickered intermittently. The trees weren't swaying. They stood like sentinels, petrified. That's when he felt it. A faint shudder, like the house had exhaled beneath him. Then another. A low groan rolled through the foundation, more sound than motion, like the earth warning him in a language just beneath understanding. Kai's breath caught. Earthquakes were rare in Wrenhaven. They hadn't had one in nearly 2 decades, and even then, it was little more than a tremble. But this was different. He grabbed his phone, no signal. He tried the Wi-Fi, dead. A sense of isolation crept in like cold water under a closed door. The third tremor was stronger. It knocked over a glass from his nightstand. It shattered. "Kai?" A voice called faintly from the hallway. His mother. He opened the door just as the lights went out. The house plunged into darkness, and the floor rumbled beneath them both. Dishes shattered in the kitchen. Somewhere in the distance, a car alarm wailed. Kai's mother stumbled toward him, clutching the wall. "Get outside. Now!" They ran. Out into the eerie stillness of the street. All around them, neighbors were doing the same, gathering in small, confused clumps in their pajamas, murmuring about aftershocks and fault lines. But something was off. No emergency sirens. No dogs barking. No birds in the sky. Just a red-orange glow on the horizon. As if the sun were bleeding into the earth. "Where are the emergency broadcasts?" Kai whispered. "I don't know," his mother replied, equally shaken. "Maybe it's just the power." Then the ground cracked. Not just a crack, but a rupture, a jagged wound splitting the asphalt just feet away. It wasn't random. It looked deliberate. From within it came a smell. Not of sulfur or dust, but of rot, wet soil and ancient, festering decay. A cold draft blew upward, not hot like magma, but chill like a tomb's breath. People started screaming. Kai took a step back, but his eyes caught something, movement. Not debris. Not human. A pale, spidery hand gripped the edge of the fissure. Then another. Something was climbing out. Part 2, The Thing in the Cracks. The thing that emerged from the fissure was no animal, no hallucination of a panicked mind. It pulled itself into the street like a corpse waking up, its skin a sickly gray-green, stretched too tight over thin bones that bent the wrong way. It didn't look around. It didn't need to. Its head moved in jerks, like a broken marionette, sniffing the air with long, twitching nostrils. Its eyes, if they were eyes, were sunken holes that glowed faintly blue, like moonlight through deep water. Kai stood frozen. Around him, people screamed and ran. Someone shouted, "It's a sinkhole, stay back." But the thing was no byproduct of geology. The creature didn't walk, it crawled, limbs folding like scissors. And where it passed, the ground seemed to pulse, like it was alive. One of the neighbors, Mr. Halverson, an older man who had tried to help his wife out of the house, fell to the sidewalk in the panic. The thing moved toward him fast, faster than it looked capable of, and wrapped long fingers around his ankle. Mr. Halverson didn't even have time to scream before he was dragged toward the fissure. Kai's mother pulled him by the wrist, snapping him out of his daze. "We have to move." They sprinted down the road, weaving between frightened neighbors, some frozen in place, others filming on their phones like the nightmare was part of reality TV. Kai looked back once, just in time to see the fissure widen. There were more of them now. Dozens. Clawing their way out of the earth like they'd been buried alive centuries ago. And behind them, glowing red lines webbed through the pavement and walls, not fire, but something older. Like symbols, or veins. It wasn't an earthquake. It was an awakening. They made it to a gas station on the edge of town, huddling with a few others who had fled the center. The place had a backup generator, so there was light, blessed, artificial light. For now. The clerk, a kid no older than Kay, was pale and shaking. I heard it on the radio before the signal died. This isn't local. This is happening everywhere. Everywhere? Someone repeated. Kai stared at the flickering map behind the counter. The emergency broadcast station had frozen before the power went out completely, displaying a glowing red pattern across continents, fault lines, but unnatural, too precise. Then a voice. Not from a speaker. Not from a mouth. Inside his head. You dug too deep. And too long did you sleep. Now the world cracks not from strain, but from memory. Kai dropped to his knees, clutching his skull. Others were doing the same. Screaming. Crying. Bleeding from their ears. Then, just as suddenly, the voice was gone. The gas station lights flickered. Then died. In the darkness, Kai whispered, "It's not an earthquake. It's a door." Part 3, What Lies Below. When the lights went out, the only sound left was breathing, panicked, shallow, and all around. Kai's breath joined the chorus. He couldn't see. Couldn't move. Couldn't even tell if his mother was still holding his arm. All he could feel was the cold air leaking from beneath the earth. It smelled like mildew, but heavier, like it had been sealed away too long, steeping in death. Then something stirred outside the gas station. Scratching. Not fingernails on glass. Claws. Kai. His mother's whisper. Don't move. A shape passed by the broken window. Just a silhouette, long limbs, no face. A flicker of glowing lines beneath its skin, pulsing like embers in a dying fire. It paused. Turned its head toward the glass. No one breathed. And then it moved on. Everyone exhaled at once, soft gasps in the pitch black. Then someone near the door moved. A flinch. A shoe squeaked on the tile. It was enough. The creature shrieked. Not a sound of pain. A call. A signal. The glass exploded inward, and all hell broke loose. Kai didn't see who lived. Or who didn't. He just ran, yanking his mother with him, bolting through the back stockroom and out into the night. But it wasn't night anymore. It looked like night, but the stars weren't stars. Above them, the sky was laced with veins of glowing red, like the cracks from the earth had stretched upward. The moon was gone. Or perhaps covered. A perfect black circle sat in its place. Pulsing. Like a heartbeat. They made it to the old quarry. Kai had played there as a kid, before it was sealed off after a boy fell in and vanished. No body was ever recovered. No one spoke of it now. But the quarry was glowing. Red lines spiraled along the stone like ancient carvings waking from sleep. The ground trembled again, but this time it wasn't a quake. It was rhythmic. Intentional. Kai. His mother said, breathless. This place. What? Her voice shook. You were born near here. Don't you remember? The strange nursery ward in Wrenhaven Hospital, by the hill? They shut it down a year after. Said it was unstable. Kai's stomach twisted. What are you talking about? But she wasn't listening. She was staring, at the center of the quarry. Where a stone pillar had cracked open. And something inside was beating. Kai stepped forward, drawn. Every instinct screamed at him to run. But his feet moved anyway. Inside the cracked pillar, he saw carvings. A spiral. A shape. A name. His name. Kai. Not engraved recently. Not vandalism. Not a coincidence. Ancient. His mother collapsed behind him, clutching her head. No, 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 they said it was sealed. Your father said it was over. Kai turned to her. What's happening to me? The voice returned. Inside his skull. You are the quake, Kai. Not the victim. The key. And beneath the quarry, something massive stirred. Part 4, The Fault Within. Kai staggered back from the glowing pillar. His name, etched in ancient stone. Not a coincidence. Not a dream. He touched the carving. The stone warmed under his fingers, like flesh. Behind him, his mother was sobbing, repeating the same phrase. They said it was over. They said it was over. Kai turned to her, heart racing. What was over? She looked up, tears streaking her face. You were never supposed to wake it. You were never supposed to get close to the quarry. The earth groaned again. Not shaking, speaking. More symbols ignited along the walls of the quarry. They pulsed in time with Kai's heartbeat. Ba-dum. 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 Faster. Louder. As if something inside the earth was sinking with him. The ground beneath the pillar split open, revealing an impossibly deep shaft, black as pitch and lined with the same eerie red sigils. A wind whooshed up from below, cold, damp, and humming with whispers. He heard it clearly now. The voice inside him. You are the fracture. The son of the buried god. Kai's vision blurred. Memories, not his, rushed into his mind. A city beneath the crust of the earth, sealed in stone and shadow. Creatures worshipping a sleeping core, calling it Kaiamun, the earth blood. A ritual, interrupted centuries ago. A child smuggled to the surface. Reborn in Renhaven. Him. You were the seal and the gate. And now you are broken. His knees gave out. He hit the gravel hard. All his life. The strange dreams. The headaches when near deep places. The way mirrors sometimes rippled in his presence. It was him. He wasn't just connected to the earthquake. He was the cause. The creatures, they weren't invading. They were responding. To his reawakening. His presence had signaled the others. Called them home. And now, the world was splintering to let them in. Suddenly, a hand grabbed his mother's. Weak, trembling. Kai. Listen to me. Your father knew. He kept the truth buried. He built the seal himself. We thought, when you were born, we thought it would stay dormant if we never told you. Kai looked into her eyes. What am I supposed to do? She shook her head. You have to choose. You can finish the awakening. You'll survive it. But no one else will. He stared down the shaft. The voices whispered louder now, beckoning. Promising him power. Understanding. Home. Or, you seal it again, she whispered. You bury it, with you inside. The wind shrieked upward like a scream. The creatures had reached the edge of the quarry now, gathering in a wide circle, waiting. Watching. Waiting for Kai to decide. Part 5, The Choice Beneath. Kai stood at the edge of the chasm, staring into the void below. Wind howled up from the pit, carrying the scent of cold stone, wet roots, and old blood. The spiral runes along the quarry walls pulsed in time with his heartbeat, no longer red, now white. Brilliant. Blinding. Around him, the creatures waited. Watching. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds now, perched along the ridges and slopes. Their glowing eyes fixed not on his mother, not on the town. Only on him. Waiting for his word. His command. You are not a child, the voice whispered from within. You are the tremor. The fracture that reshapes the crust of worlds. Kai clenched his fists, but the power was rising. His skin buzzed. The very rock beneath his feet responded to his will. When he breathed, the quarry exhaled. When he moved, the air warped. He looked at his mother. She was barely standing, her hand on the stone pillar, eyes filled with pain and love. You sealed it once, Kai said quietly. How? She swallowed. Your father carved the glyphs himself. With his blood. It needed someone of the line. Someone who carried the spark. You were too young. He understood what she couldn't say. Now, he wasn't. And that meant the choice was his. Option 1, embrace it. Kai turned back to the pit. Beneath him, the city of stone pulsed like a sleeping god's heart. Its towers, carved from bones, vines, and fossilized flesh, glimmered as the sigils awakened. Take your place, the voice whispered. Rule what was lost. Rise with the old blood. If he stepped into the chasm now, he would descend as a boy. And rise as something else. Something more. The earthquakes would spread. Cities would fall. Fault lines would become mouths. The surface would crack open to let the ancient world bloom once more. He would be king of the hollow earth. The Kaya moon. And yet. Option 2, end it. He looked again at his mother. Then down at his hands, hands that had begun to glow with the same spiraling light. He could channel it. Seal it. He was the gate, but also the key. If he gave everything, his life, his mind, his soul, the fissure would collapse. The creatures would be dragged back underground. The glyphs would fade. The world above would live. But he would not. He'd be buried beneath the crust, forgotten. Alone. He closed his eyes. Then made his choice. 1 year later. Wrenhaven was rebuilding. No one really understood what had happened that night. The quake had torn through half the town, then stopped just as quickly. Officials called it a rare deep fault disturbance. Nothing else. The pit in the quarry was gone. Just solid rock now. The land unmoved. People mourned. Kai's name was etched into the local memorial wall. Another soul lost during the tremors. But sometimes, on very still nights, those who lived near the quarry said they heard something. A distant rumble. Like the earth turning in its sleep. And if you listened closely, sometimes it sounded like breathing.